share my screen. I hope I'm audible and visible clearly to everyone. In case not, just let me know now so that we can fix it before we start.
Ma'am, you're completely audible and visible.
Okay, awesome. Cool.
Before we start, I'd like to give a short intro uh, to everyone present. So, good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you. On behalf of the Consulting and Analytics Club, IIT Guwahati, I'm delighted to welcome you to another session of the Winter Consulting Speaker Series 2025. So today's session is centered around a powerful idea. Strategy is not a role, it's a way of thinking. So this session will focus on breaking into strategy, the mindset and toolkit strategic thinkers use, and how these skills transfer across fast-paced, real-world environments. And it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Ms. Swati Kumari. So she is a senior product leader with extensive experience working at the intersection of strategy, product, and execution. She is an IIT Roorkee alum, and over the years, she has worked closely on driving business impact by translating strategic thinking into real-world outcomes. So thank you all for joining us today, and I'd like to invite Swati ma'am to take it forward and begin with the session now.
Yeah, okay. Um, yeah, thanks, Arya. Thanks for the introduction and nice to meet everyone here. Um, I'm just trying to share my PDF like this. Um, I'm not very used to Teams, so if there's a better way to share it so that I can parallelly see you guys, just let me know. Um, Arya, are you aware of how to share it directly over here itself? Like it happens in Zoom, the way it is there on Zoom.
I'm not exactly aware, but I think even that works perfectly. Like we were able to hear you and see the PDF, so you can do that.
Okay, okay. Let me do that then.
And ma'am, you can also download the PDF and directly share.
I actually have it downloaded. So you asking me to share it with the group itself over here?
No, I think there's a way that you can, if you have the PDF downloaded, you can directly share the screen. But if that's not visible to you right now, you can go with the way you shared it prior.
Okay, fine. Let's do that in order to save time because I don't see the option to do um, the other way. I'll share it directly. Okay. Um, okay, so let me know if you all can see my screen, hear me, and see me clearly. Just maybe say a yes because I'll have to switch between tabs. Okay, awesome. So, welcome everyone to today's session. The idea for today's session is uh, to give you an understanding about product management as a topic, as a subject, as a genre, which you can pick up as a profession further on in your careers. And I'm assuming all of you are students over here in different years of college, and I look forward to catering to, your understanding and also fixing some myths that you might have. What is this role? how can you get into it, and how do you even start? Some of you would already be maybe in your third, fourth, or fifth years where you would have done some internships, you would have maybe a slightly better idea of product is. But in order to touch upon the basics and essentially the mindset which can help you to get and become a good product manager is what we are going to touch upon in today's presentation. Okay, so with that, quick introduction along with what Arya already mentioned. I am a product manager by profession. I have over 6+ years of work experience at this point. I have worked with uh, uh, big firms, MNCs, Indian startups, as well as US-based startups. And I have a good idea about how the different startup ecosystems work, not just between different countries, but also, let's say you're working in a B2B, which is a business to business, or a B2C, which is a business to customer kind of a startup. What's the difference? And I can probably touch upon that more if you guys are interested towards later on in the presentation. Along with this, I am a travel and a music enthusiast, like some of you might be out here. And I always believe independent of the product management as a profession, which also requires you to, keep on experimenting and have a learner's mindset. Um, if you enjoy doing that on your own, it definitely helps in, becoming a better product manager. We'll touch upon that how and why as well. But before that, I'll take quick few minutes to talk about some myths or some assumptions that you guys may or may not have about product. So let's start with the first one. It's a very famous line that people like to quote when they talk about product management is that you are like the CEO of the product or the team or the segment of the product that you are owning. So what is your understanding or take on that? If somebody would like to volunteer and share their thoughts, um, maybe over chat, or if you can raise your hand if you have heard this at least said before. This is an interactive session. Please let me know your thoughts. I can go faster, slower, touch more upon anything that you would want. So, yeah, go ahead. How many of you have at least heard of it? You can just raise your hands. Okay, okay. Aryan has. Okay. Okay, some of you are raising your hands, you're on different screens for me, but good. So you have heard that before. Um, Quickly breaking that down, what does it mean when you say that you're the CEO of the product? Sometimes when you think about the boss, you feel like, oh, you have all the power and authority to just, command people. You're the manager. You can just tell people what to do, and that's how you get things done. But a very important aspect of this uh, statement is incorrect, that you're not the boss. You're not actually um, there to command people, especially when you're coming from a space of you're new into the team, you're new into the company, you're still getting to know about the product. You cannot command that, hey, do this, do that. What you need to do is to understand how different aspects of running a product works and stitch them together. You're supposed to understand, let's say, what exactly is the business requirement, translate it into a, a term which can be understood by, let's say, the developers, the designers, and let's say the marketing team, and do the communications and other things accordingly. So that's what it means at a high level. It's not that you are the owner and you can just say, hey, do this, do that. And it also does not mean that it's a very straightforward um get the requirement, translate it, and give it out to different teams. There's more depth to it. You need to understand why you are doing something that the business is asking you to. Should it even be done? And that's where you slowly build and understand that, okay, you're not the boss. You need to essentially be a student there, learn about the product, about the team, and hence slowly you will get a little bit of authority, I won't say a lot, where you can uh, expect people to do what you're saying based on your knowledge about the team or the product. Okay. Quickly going on to the next topic, which is the coding barrier. This is especially true for, let's say, technical product manager roles in firms which are, building AI products or are working a lot with engineering first mindset. So you believe that you need to be fully able to code in order to, understand what the engineers are saying or doing, or the developers are saying or doing, and that's how you become a technical PM. Again, not exactly true. You need to understand the language of tech, and this is not necessarily equal to you being able to code. Now the things have also changed a lot, evolved a lot, that you can use a lot of no code tools to build prototypes and experiment without having to go into the depth of how it is being done behind the scenes. But still, it's not a mandatory thing. You don't need a degree in order to prove your merit to become a product manager, even in a technical domain. Okay. Third thing, the experience paradox, which is again very true or applicable for newcomers, which is, your junior PMs, your APMs, your associate PMs, where the thought is that I don't have relevant experience. It's true that you don't have relevant experience in a particular domain of building the product, but it doesn't mean that you don't understand what product management is about. Um, if you have done some level of work in your college in terms of organizing something, even at a smaller scale, for your class, for your team, for your batch, and for a club or a group, anything, you do have some level of understanding as to what it takes to imagine or have an idea in mind and execute it, and build a finished product or build a finished experience if you have organized a fest or something. So it's not entirely um, a zero experience game, but it's about how you position your experiences to say that you have relevant transferable skills from your experience in college. Okay. Thirdly, sorry, the fourth point here is the motivation check. Usually, when I get reached out by people who are, let's say, new into their careers, they usually say that, hey, I don't like coding, so I want to get into product. Or they'll be, I don't like design, that's why I want to get into product. But your motivation, if it's stemming from that, is not the best way to move into product, because as every designation has its own pros and cons, just because you don't like doing something else, that should not be a motivation for you to do the other thing. You should know what product entails, how do you, become a better PM, and not just, I don't want to do development, hence I'll move into product. Okay. These are the four things that I want to highlight. Any question or any thoughts here? Y'all can write in the comments. I know I'm just scratching the surface right now, but feel free to drop in your questions. If those are a lot, we can address it later. But yeah, let me know. Okay, I'll wait in for the questions to be dropped. And in the meantime, I'll move into the next part of the discussion here, which is what exactly then is a product manager's job. Um, when we say that you have to be the connect between different teams, you must have seen, if you are interested in product, there's a very popular Venn diagram that people use. They draw business, tech, design, and they put PM in the middle. And that's what confuses people, that, okay, do I need to know business and tech and design in order to be a PM? And the answer is yes and no both. No, because you don't need to know the details of each skill, but yes, because you need to understand the language of each of the different domains um, which are involved into making or making that product or the team in which you're working. So imagine that you are having let's take an example. Okay, that's the best way to understand it. Let's touch tech constraints first. So someone from the tech team tells you that, hey, because of XYZ reasons, let's say, let's go with the basic reason that this task would take 5 days to do, and we have unavailability of one person in the team, and because of which there'll be delay in the product launch deadline or the timeline that has been discussed and aligned. Now, what do you do? So either you go, hey, yes, okay, fine, and then you translate it to the stakeholders that because one person is not there, this would get delayed. Are you being a messenger here? Yes. But are you being a product manager here? No. That's where you need to understand the details of tech. And what would that be? You should be able to understand what exactly was the task at hand. And a team is not working on one particular action item at a time. They'll probably be juggling with, five, six different things, two, three different things, depending on the team size. And what you as a PM have to do is to probably look at how important is that task which needs to be delivered, and B, are there any other aspects of tech work that is going on that can be deprioritized? And maybe you can put in some more resources to get this thing done. If not, can you understand if there would be a simpler version? Let's say you were you were assuming that you would make a very nice animated button or something on your web page, but can you go ahead with a version 0? Can you just give them a basic button to work with? That way you have rolled out the functionality. Maybe there's once the person is back or once there is bandwidth of the team, you can add on extra features and make it into the version that it was expected to be at the beginning. So you having the understanding of and the capability of reallocating resources, understanding the priorities of the ongoing quarter of the stakeholders, and whatever is expected to be delivered, that will help you make a better decision into either approaching this that, okay, I'll reprioritize and still get this thing done, or B, I've tried everything, this doesn't work. How do you probably properly communicate this to the stakeholder? So that's the understanding of the language that will help you translate and communicate between these different aspects of the team. So what you're essentially doing is turning chaos into clarity. That's what the deck is about. Um, any thoughts here? I see a question here 1 minute ago. It's by Himanshi, so I'll answer that. Okay. Uh, this question might be of ahead. I understand products, but many times I just jump to solution as soon as I see the problem. Every time I start, I tend to think about solutions as I get some hints. How do you work when given a problem statement and how to think structurally? Now, Himanshi, yes, we will touch upon that. There's a dedicated section for that. So, yeah, give it some time. Um, Dheeraj, you have mentioned explain in brief, please, please. I don't exactly get it. Is it too long of a description for you? If you can let me know.
There's a question before Himanshi as well. Tapas asked that can I switch from consulting to PM?
Okay, got it. Yes. Um, yeah, so that's also a fair question, and that's what I sort of touched a little bit upon having experience paradox. Um, any or any experience that you have had, how do you translate it to a product experience, or how can you draw parallels between product consulting? A lot of aspects of consulting, again, we'll touch upon it, is very close to how product thinking works. Maybe there are additional things. some things that would work slightly differently than consulting. But yes, you can, to answer you in one word. And yeah, let's touch upon that in detail when we take up an example to discuss further. Okay. Hope it's all good. I'll move ahead in the interest of time as well. Now, this is actually where Himanshi's question also sort of fits into. Um, you don't have to jump into solutions when you think about product thinking. So, what is product thinking for all the beginners out there? Let's say I give you a problem that mm, okay, let's not think about something very abstract. Let's take an example of this meeting itself. Okay, let's say suddenly while I'm talking, you can't hear me. Okay, and then what would be your first approach to it? You'll probably check if your speaker is working. You'll probably drop in a message that, hey Swati, can you check your microphone, maybe it's working or not working. We will then try to maybe you will try to leave the call, join back again, see if it's a network issue. I'll try to maybe do the same, right? So there are different things we would do to understand what is causing this problem. Okay. Now, when we talk about product thinking, think of it like this. What's the problem at hand? The problem is that you can't hear me. Okay. There can be many reasons for that. An extreme example would be that I've lost my voice, or you have just lost your hearing power all of a sudden, which is two extremes of it. But it would probably be somewhere in the middle. Probably my network issue, your issue, my earphones got discharged, my battery got drained out, something like that. So, what we have to do before we directly start fiddling with solutions when we talk about product is we need to think what all could be causing it. Okay, we always don't have the liberty in everyday scenarios to list down what could be causing it and then tick off one by one. But what I'm trying to say is that you need to think of the root cause that could have caused the problem. And the idea or the muscle that you have to build over time is to think from, okay, let me not just, first disconnect and connect back, but think of what all could be causing it. Check your volume, check your, battery levels, and then take an action. Otherwise, what would you be doing? You would be trying out five different things, and maybe the fifth one is the right way to do it. You'll be wasting time. That's how it works in building and doing real product management. Let's say a client complains, or you see a feedback on Twitter about your product. Let's say you're owning a product which is a very popular B2C e-commerce app, that, oh, your payments are failing. This is a very bad experience for a user. And you suddenly jump in to start fixing the payments versus you actually break it down and see that, okay, what could be causing it? Is that user's problem? Is that, let's say, an Android versus iOS sort of a problem? Is that some other thing? Our payment partners are breaking? Is it our problem, internal problem, external problem? So you don't just jump into solutioning. You build that muscle slowly with day-to-day practice examples, that let's think about what could be causing it and then jump into solutioning. Okay, it takes time, it takes practice, but you'll get there with, like, the more you practice in your day-to-day things. Okay, so let's take this example that's there on the screen right now. I'm sure you all would have read it roughly. The cafeteria line is too long. Okay. Uh, what would you think? Okay, let's make more counters, or let's, give some pre-order mechanism. Payment is slow. What exactly is the reason? This is what we're talking about. First, doing a root cause analysis. You can't just say that, okay, let's develop a pre-ordering um, app so that the cafeteria line is shorter. No, because you didn't look into what is causing it on the first place. Is it, like, some examples of what could be the reason here are listed over here. So, uh, the skill set of becoming a good better and the best PM is how deeply and how smartly can you go into root cause of a problem. The more you deal with day to day or let's say industry specific examples, the more you get sharper and quicker with, your iterations that this could be causing it. Okay. So I hope this was a bit helpful. One recommendation or idea that I can give you guys, because you all are students right now, to practice this is obviously not on your jobs, but you all have apps on your phones for different things, right? To listen to songs, order food, productivity, 20 other things, okay, social media, etc. Try to look at these apps and products that you're using from a PM's lens. Okay, how would you look at a problem or something that you are, let's say, bothered by, and how would you think of solving it? What do you think could be causing it? Okay, maybe even reach out to the people on LinkedIn who are PMs of those companies and say that, hey, I've noticed this. Are you aware? Probably they would be if it's a bigger firm. And just try to, pick your own brain and get relevant people uh, into the picture and even suggest solutions once you have structurally thought that what could be causing it. And if you have a good solution approach to it, it might help you land, an internship or a conversation with the person as well. So just a pointer there. Okay, I'll just take two, three questions here before moving on to the next slide. Hiya Bhatia has mentioned, I'm one of the founders of a bootstrap startup which deals with B2B SaaS app. Any tips on how I can indulge into PM thinking to optimize my startup's workflow? Um, okay. A founder is already having multiple, you're juggling and wearing multiple hats. So you are essentially doing the work of a PM already. Product thinking in a B2B setup, usually what happens is that you get the requirements from the the clients who are the purchasers of the product. Think of it as when a parent buys a Kinder Joy, they are just buying the product. The actual consumer or the user is the kid, right? Who will be eating it or playing with the toy. So in a B2B scenario, what happens is that your clients who are purchasing it from you might be saying that they want X thing, but the actual users may or may not align with it. Okay. So try to tap into, if you have an opportunity to speak to users more and more, maybe on a regular basis, get more insights from the actual users, have a few people you can reach out to for feedbacks. That'll help you into understanding the real problems of the users and hence work for that and then convince the client that this is the thing that they would need, or this is the thing we can help you solve faster. Okay, that's one thing. Hope that helps here. Sumit is asking, coming from a business background, what is the number one technical skill I should prioritize to collaborate effectively with engineering leads? Um, okay, it's a tough question to answer with in a open-ended setup. There's nothing called number one technical skill, I would say. The number one skill of a PM, I would say, is a learner's mindset. And it depends on which company you are ultimately going into. Let's say your company is a completely AI first company, then you would need to understand the AI terminologies more. If you're going into a crypto company, you would need to upskill and learn about crypto more. Okay. So it has to be context driven. But number one technical skill, I don't know if there's an answer for that. So sorry, I can't put a pin to that, if it makes sense. Okay, how do you handle a situation where you're convinced your product idea is valid and data backed, but a department like engineering, legal, sales disagrees due to domain specific concerns? Okay, I would probably want to talk and understand this in detail. Like, are you in a job and you're asking this or so on? So let's address this, Rajuram, at the towards the end of the presentation. Okay, Yasmin is asking to be in a line of product managers, which specialization subject would be a good combination for entering? Honestly, I have interacted with product managers who were a baker before, who were into music production and became a product manager. I mean, I'm just giving you wild domains to give you an idea that it's all about transferable skills. You can obviously you'll have to put in the extra effort and mile. That if you want to become a technical PM, but you come from, let's say, a commerce background, but it's not impossible. There's always an option to learn whatever the skill set gap you feel you have. There are a lot of Udemy and courses which are not super expensive that give you a good idea about basics of becoming a technical PM, or let's say a design PM or a generalist PM, and do those and you will see like where do you lack or where do you have a gap, and you can take that as a first step. There's no subject specialization which is an industry standard which is needed for product management, except a few bigger firms that might say that we need an MBA, but trust me, that's not mandatory for you to break into product. If you like the domain, you want to upskill in that, then that's a different question. Hope that makes sense, Yasmin. Okay, here, okay, welcome. Hello, ma'am, I'm a BTech CSE student. Is PM a good field to start a career? And how to learn all the important skills and where to start? Okay, Dheeraj, yes, you can break into product management from a CSE background. It'll be a good entry point for technical PM roles, junior technical PM roles. And we are touching upon the mindsets first. We'll talk about the skills later on in the presentation, or the tools, or at least the basics that you need to know in order to um, break into product management, so to say. Okay, we'll touch upon that. And let's move ahead with this. But yeah, before everyone jumps into thinking about which is the number one tool that I need to know, or what are the tools that I need to know, the most important thing that I want you all to take back from this session, if anything, would be every tool is learnable. Okay, you are in college, you know that you can pick up um, like Java and learn it. You can pick up Python and learn it. You can pick up, I don't know, Figma and become a basic, I wouldn't say expert, but a basic understanding of that tool within a day, a week, or 2 weeks max. Okay, that's not the problem. The problem with people wanting to get into product is the mindset or how you approach problems. And trust me, when you'll be in interviews or in scenarios where in a world of AI where everyone can get a written solution as to 10 ways to solve a problem, it's about how you as an individual think, and how do you prioritize between what problem to solve first versus the second. That is going to be the differentiator for you. So focus on, along with the tools, yes, I'm not saying don't prioritize it, focus on the mindset building as well. Okay. um cool. Okay, let's do this. I have two examples of this which you can fiddle with, and I would want all of you to take at least 5 minutes to do this. So, there are a lot of frameworks. Again, this is touching upon the consulting thing. If people are interested in consulting or would know about consulting, there's the MECE framework that we all know about, which is I think I'll let you all tell in the comments what does MECE stand for. A lot of you are consulting enthusiasts here. Yeah, the one MECE framework that we always talk about in consulting is how can you break down the problem such that you cater to all the aspects that could be causing the problem, and they are also uh, not overlapping as well. Okay. I'm still waiting for someone to tell me what MECE is in the comments. So yeah, go ahead. For others, yes, Shesi, you're right. Mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. So, and Darshan too. Cool. So that's what we are talking about. That it's a very important way to approach a problem statement. That's what you're taught in consulting. It's nothing different when you think about product, because that's how you'll try to think what all could be causing the problem. Um, there is a there are other frameworks also which again you can read up. One of the popular ones is circles, which is to this is what circles stand for. Comprehend, identify the problem, report, or like essentially yeah, figure out what is causing it, um, list it, evaluate, list the problems, evaluate what can be solved, and then summarize your findings. Okay, so um, this is a very popular framework which helps you to understand um, the problem till reaching a solution. So what we are going to do is that let's if you've used Spotify, or you can take the example of WhatsApp. I'm assuming every one of you uses WhatsApp. Think about like you can take either of these examples. What I want you to do, listen carefully. A, list down. Maybe you all can comment here as well. First thing, what is the primary purpose of this uh, app? Okay. An app could be doing 20 things. Okay. But according to you, what's the primary purpose of the app? You can take the example of Spotify slash YouTube Music slash Amazon Music, whatever you listen to, or WhatsApp. Let's do this now. What's the primary purpose? A. Then think about two things. What is one feature that you would like to add on the app if you were a PM, if given an opportunity or like a dream feature? And what would be a feature or a functionality that you would want to remove? Okay. Um, don't overthink this. Maybe you can think of it as, you as a user of the product, what have you felt? That this, I complain about this always. This is such a problem. Or I wish they would have done, or added this thing. It would have made my life so much easier. Because you're the user, you can just put down your thoughts. So, A, think what is the primary purpose of the app? And B, think about one feature that you would like to add and one feature that you would like to remove, and justify a one-liner reason for both. Okay. Um, let's do this, and yeah, let's see how it goes. It's 1:48 by my watch right now. We'll take like 5 minutes here. Uh, Depending on uh, if you guys are having fun, we can spend more time or cut it short. So yeah, take some time. Um, Deepak, you can pick any product of your choice. For this discussion, I had considered WhatsApp and Spotify so that we can see what others are also thinking about these two apps. So if you want, you can choose between these two, or feel free. Like it's an exercise for you. Prerna, I've read your question. We'll talk about it um, in this exercise.
Anshul has answered the exercise.
Yeah, yep. I'm waiting for more pointers. And also, what would you want to remove, Achal, if if given a choice. And I think Spotify has some mood-based playlists already. So I'm not sure if it's a new feature. Correct me if I'm wrong, or if you mean to say something else. But yeah, the primary purpose, according to you, is for people to listen to music. Okay. Interesting. Interesting feature to add, Aviral. Darshan's feature is also interesting. Shweta also. Nice. You guys have really creative answers. And I would encourage all of you to, after brainstorming, read through the comment section as well. Because you will also see the thought process and get more ideas too. So, yeah. Okay, summarizing long chats in a group the way Google Chats or Slack messages now have an inbuilt AI, Gemini, I think. Mhm. Was it featured? Mhm. Weekly lists. I'm loving reading all your answers. It's nice. Hmm. Okay. Oh, wow. Live count of people listening to the song in real time. Nikhil, what would be the um, metric for that? I mean, why would you justify adding that feature? It's a fun feature, but let's say if you can unmute yourself and we can have this discussion for others also to get an idea. Um, if you have to justify a stakeholder that you want to add this feature, what would your incentive as a Spotify PM would be? What would you be driving?
And basically, it would help people. It would like create a collective and joyful activity. So people would feel like they are a part of the group. So they would be
Mhm.
spending time on Spotify as such.
Okay, so if if I only found the last part useful if I have to be a complete stakeholder mindset right now, that they would spend maybe more time on the app. Because if I think about me listening to Spotify passively, then that number doesn't matter to me. Yeah, whenever I open the app to see how many people are listening, it might look good. But what about how you would show this on the app? Imagine there's a playlist of 20 songs. So would you show that beside each song name? Because then it would look maybe a bit cluttered, or maybe a number beside each. So it can be confusing that whether it's the song duration or the number of people listening, like 12K, 12 million, something like that. Do you think, have you thought about, if I have to put you on spot, again, feel free, that how would you visualize this happening on the app? And this is a question for all the people, for whatever features that you have suggested. Think about how would it look on the app if you haven't thought already. Yeah, Nikhil, go ahead.
Basically, whenever someone will try to listen to a song, we ensure
Mm-hmm.
live somewhere in like below the song photo, and
Okay.
that would just a simple number such as 12K or 13K people listening, and it would be changing in the real time. That's all what I was thinking.
Hmm. Got it. What about the technical implementation aspect of this? Do you think this would make the app heavier if you are doing this for all the songs that a user is listening to?
Maybe, ma'am, I haven't thought about that like till now.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. The feature is nice. Um, so what I was trying to do with this exercise, guys, Nikhil, by the way, good answers, um, is to make you think that even when you come up with solutions, right? Um, you as a PM also need to think about some level of um, roadblocks or implementation details that could come up when you think or suggest a feature. You might love a feature yourself as a user, but also think that what would it mean from a business standpoint? Would it be the best use of time of the people working on the app right now? Stuff like that. Right now, the exercise was more of a fun one, but when you're actually on the job, doing real PM work, these are the things that will come up. Okay. So, yeah, and also just to give some ideas, that people always run experiments, right? You will see that one day YouTube introduces something on the web version, and then the other day they, replace it with something else. So experimentation is always going on, and like good teams or good products encourage that, so that you find what would work and what would not work. But it also depends on the size and the scale of the company. If you're in a startup where it's a very lean team, you would probably be focusing on just the important bare bone stuff first. So, yeah, just a thought experiment that I want to leave you folks with. Okay. Prerna, your question was that which of the points in the circles framework is most important? Honestly, it's everything. Like, the framework is to help you reach from one to the other stage. When I talk about practically you working as a PM on a team, um, you would probably be working with um, maybe a senior PM, a set of other product managers, or maybe a founder, or someone head of product, depending on what size of the company you will end up being. But when you think about um, these points, like you have to you know, uh, cut through prioritization, comprehend what the problem is, think about feasibility, list down possible, brainstorm ideas, those things. Everything is important. Maybe some of these steps would be taken up by the seniors, senior product managers, or the head of product would be, okay, you've given me five different approaches. How about we take up the first way to do this? And that may be something that could be important for them to decide. It depends, again, entirely context driven. So you need to be able to understand the why at every stage. Even if someone else is taking the product main decision in the team, let's say a senior product manager or a head of product or a founder, make sure that you always ask why. Like, so that you can build on the learning, right? You can build on the understanding, and in future you can take those decisions with correct reasoning, not because someone said so. Hope that helps. Okay. Um, Okay, moving on to the next part. So I was told that like you guys are here from first, second, third, fourth year almost, like across different stages of your college life. So maybe depending on the stage you are at, um, the part of your product journey could look different. When you are in your, let's say, first, second year of college where you are still experimenting with maybe I should do design, maybe I should do music or product, things like that. The good way to figure out it is explore or experiment. So in order to do that, you need to you know build more experience, not by necessarily solving for the Spotify's and WhatsApps of the world, but think about your day-to-day um, uh, problems that you face, product problems. Let's say, um, what are the small things that you can even build, like automations that you can build to simplify your own life. You get, like someone said, mentioned here that in WhatsApp, can someone summarize a Google chat, sorry, a group chat that happens on WhatsApp? That feature doesn't exist right now. Can you try doing that automation and see plug and play it somewhere on WhatsApp? Maybe not on WhatsApp, but let's say your own uh, little experiment to try this out. Things like that. So if you face a problem, can you build a quick solution? Can you at least try using some no-code tools to do it? You have to start experimenting and thinking like that, um, because that will help you build the muscle of product first thinking, and also give you cool pointers to add on your resume, or even maybe build the product and scale it up yourself. Who knows? Okay. And versus if we talk about the third, fourth year, maybe some of you would have done internships in product roles or sister roles or something. You need to do this building with much more like not just build things, but like to uh, do these experiments with much more structure and something that you can actually show for. So let's say if you have a very simple example, you have built a website for a college fest. Forget about college fest. You have built your own portfolio website, okay? You can show that, right? You can host it somewhere. You can add the link, a QR code on your resume. You can maybe if you're a design student, can you make a comic out of your own experience of college? Like comic or like a comic strip. Like what I'm trying to say is that can you be creative in a way that can be presented to someone and someone can actually understand your skill set from that? I know it's easier said than done, and you don't always have the opportunities to do it for, let's say, a club or a team or a group. But can you do it for yourself? Can you build something for yourself to simplify your own life and show for it in a manner? Okay. Um, so that's a thing. Let's go into like quick detail of the roadmap of our second years. You're not applying to jobs or internships at the moment, probably. You will, you may or may not be. But yeah, this is what I was talking about, building anything. Or the easiest thing is, putting yourself out there, I feel, is uh, writing product teardowns. Or like, let's say you do a detailed analysis of WhatsApp as a product and write down your understanding, read other product teardowns that are available online, go watch a YouTube video, just a quick one. Don't spend like 2 weeks seeing how to do a product teardown and don't do anything. Publish it somewhere, just write it on LinkedIn, write it for, like, share it with your friends and see how much of it they understand. You'll get feedback. You can reach out to people on LinkedIn to just, who are maybe some senior to you who has actually done a product internship, or someone who is into first, second year of their job in a product role. You can talk to them. You can ask them, does this make sense? How can I do better? So it's about experimenting, putting things out there, and also trying to get some feedback on how to improve from here. Okay. If nothing, you always have the GPTs and Geminis of the world to go and get feedback from. But do some work on your own. Don't leave the brainstorming to, AI alone. That'll help you um, build that muscle better without the dependency on AI completely. Okay. For third, fourth years, if I mean, we do have some APM rotational programs still active in India. Some more keep coming up. I probably would not be most updated on those, but be on the lookout for those because they help you train through a year or a year and a half long experience across different teams to uh, help you become better product managers. Google and Metas are more global ones, but you also have Flipkart and a few other companies that have started recently as well. So you can like focus on cracking those with uh, again, things to show for. And how do you show for? By building a portfolio, like I was talking about. Not necessarily just a resume, but you can also have, if you've done teardowns, you have built a small feature, can you do a quick screen share of the demo and attach the link to it? A Loom link explaining how it will work. Maybe a video introduction for yourself. So essentially, what can you additionally do to stand out to show that I understand product and I am ready to put in the learning and the hours needed. Okay. And the backdoor strategy is not entirely backdoor, but the idea is that what someone was asking as well, right? That can you move from consultation to product? I actually moved from a software developer role to a product management role after 3 years of working as a dev. So the thing is not it's not impossible, and I know people who have transitioned from different domains as well. So you need to, let's say, if you have a skill set as a developer, that's the closest I can relate to, you'll understand tech well. Okay. So you will have that understanding and the clarity of tech, which you can use to your advantage. But again, you might not have the best business understanding. So you will still need to learn that. If you're coming from consulting, you probably have a clearer business or stakeholder understanding, but you will still need to learn the tech skills. So there'll always be something for you to fill in the gap if you even if you take up some other role, and eventually, let's say after a year and a half, few months, depending on again what's the company you're joining, the scale of that company, you can transition into a product role. Okay. um this is the last part of the slide here. We'll take up questions, discuss more on this. One thing that I would actually want to tell all of you is that take action. Like maybe after this session, within the next week, probably try doing a product teardown or start reading any of these books. These are really good foundational text, and there is cracking the PM code as well. I forgot to mention it here. It's more about interview point of view, sort of an understanding of product. But the mom's test, like how do you actually frame questions for your users? How can you run quick experiments? Invisible Women talks about biases that people have in building, let's say, products. for different genders? How do, let's say, different age groups? This book doesn't talk about age groups, but the idea is who are you building it for? Who's your target audience? And getting clearer and clearer on that through learnings. And you can definitely join Discord communities and other sources to resources to keep yourself updated on what's going on. Like this event is also one way to upskill yourself, but definitely try being actively involved. Don't treat this as this domain as if you're seriously interested about product, don't treat this as something that you will, prepare uh, questions on how to answer root cause analysis, write a product tear down 1 month before your placements and get done. Because maybe you'll get the job, but how do you upskill and go become better? So try to build these things into daily practice, join communities, etc. And this is my LinkedIn QR. Excuse me. I'll be happy to connect with you guys and feel free to drop in your questions if things get missed right now in the discussion as well. Okay. Dhira just mentioned, please show me the previous page. Okay. Are you talking about this page number 10? I actually
Ma'am, I
had
think he
one
was
more.
talking about the
Uh,
ninth slide.
Ninth slide is this one. Okay. I actually had one more slide for you guys. I think it got missed out. Let me see if I can fetch it and share it here. Yeah, it actually will be helpful for you to take some, notes. Maybe a screenshot of that would help. Let me share it. Mm, Not this one. People, in the meantime, if you have questions, feel free to drop it here in the comments. We'll take that up. Uh, and let me just get this for you. Okay. Can I attach an image over here on the chat? I don't think so, right? No worries. I'll just do it here, I'm sure. Okay. I'm just switching to this tab once. Let me know if you can see this.
Yes, ma'am, we can see it.
Okay. Um, yeah, I intentionally wanted to put this here is from the point of view that how can you translate your college experiences into PM equivalent skills? Okay. This is just a rough idea because I know I have been there where I've written that, organize this fest and got like say these many teams to participate or uh, got these many sponsors, but you think it's an accomplishment, which it is, but how do you um, make someone who's hiring you for a job get convinced that this is going to be uh, a person who I can hire because they have the relevant skills? It's this. So um, hope you find that useful as well. And yeah, I think That's it from my end, folks. We are okay. Someone was asking something. Go ahead. I'll mute myself.
Hi, ma'am. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Ma'am, I had just previous question, ma'am. Like as a PM,
Mm.
if you are ready with an idea and your team doesn't align with that, maybe an engineering or legal team doesn't align to your idea, and even after a rough discussion, I mean they are not happy with whatever you have presented with them. So will you go ahead by taking a tough decision that whatever you have thought is right, or you will what will be your strategy on this, ma'am? I wanted to know.
Okay. So, yeah, I think you asked this question earlier. Yes, thanks for the reminder. What I want to understand is that uh, are you asking this just as a general question, or do you actually have a scenario or some context? Maybe you've done some
No,
internship
ma'am.
or
It's a general question,
okay,
ma'am. So like general
okay,
questions.
got it. Cool. So yes, good question. General approach to this would be to understand. Okay, what do I mean by that is that uh, you can think about um, that this would be the best way to cater to the customer. You have to think about the customer first. That's true. Like as a PM, you are a representative of the users of the product, not the customers, the users. But uh, if different teams don't align with you, you need to understand the why. Why is the word of the session if someone has to make a note of it. Why is it so? If legal or any other team, business particularly, is saying a no, you have to question reason. Yes, why are you saying so? Is it something that you are missing? Let's say you're new into the firm and they say that, okay, you know what, we have done this before and it didn't work. Okay, so we don't want to keep on experimenting and wasting our time on this. So that's a fair reason. If they say that no, we don't have the budget, again, can you, as a PM, propose something that can be done in a smaller budget? If it's something that legal doesn't align, probably then it's something that your company can't do. So, unless I'm not saying that you back off and don't take any, like, you don't have a stand at all, but at the same time, you can't be rigid because, again, you're not the CEO of the product. You are someone who is there to own the product as a customer's, sorry, as a user's representative. You can still believe that, okay, this feature will be helpful for the user. It's just that it might not be the best time for whatever multiple reasons to go ahead with this, and then you agree to that. And sometimes it also happens that you have built a feature almost 40-50%, but priorities change and that gets iceboxed. Like it goes as wherever it is, and you then start focusing on something new. So you can't let these things be taken personally. These are mostly depending on the context of the company, priorities changing immediately or whatever. And you have to go with um, whatever has been decided by the team together. So that's my answer to you. Hope that helps and makes sense. Okay. Hari is asking, from an industry perspective, how do salary ranges for PMs compared with developers at similar experience level? Um, Again, open-ended question, Hari. Difficult to answer that. Sometimes, again, like if you are getting into a PM role directly after a, a bachelor's or a technical degree, um, it's a little bit of a managerial ask, right? So maybe you would be evaluated at a slightly lesser pay than a developer who has a technical degree coming into a software developer domain. And it can be vice versa also. Someone with commerce would go into tech and they can also be evaluated at a little lesser pay because they don't have the background, so to say. But having said that, there's no upper cap or the levels that you can get to. There's always enough opportunities for you to upskill, uh, and land in scenarios where you get paid more than developers or same as developers, depending on the context. In fact, the higher you go, um, in designation, I can't say who earns more than whom, but you have to understand that the roles and responsibilities of the PM also, it's more horizontal. It keeps getting wider. But if you're an individual contributor developer working on only one thing, you have the depth. So both have their weightages in terms of pay. It'll depend on the company, your scope of work, and a lot of other things to determine the salaries. But don't worry about the entry point so much. Uh, as the career progresses, you will have opportunities equally, I would say. Okay, are there any more questions, Arya? If you can also point me to it if I would have missed it. If not, others feel free to ask your questions, and we'll take last 2 minutes because we are already 1 hour 11 minutes, and we can wrap up then.
We had a question earlier from Abhishek. He asked that I am
Okay.
from a BA background and I am doing
Mhm.
MCA. Which skills should I be taught? Please suggest me.
Which skills should I be taught? Okay. Um, honestly, like for product, right? That's the question. It was from Abhishek. Abhishek, are you there on the call now? If you are, and if you can unmute yourself. But anyways, I will still try to answer it again. It's an open-ended question. But yeah, something that I wanted to touch upon is that there are different um, skill sets that you would need as a PM. Okay. Uh, actually, on that note, let me pull up something that could be helpful for you guys again. Let me mention it here. 1 second. 1 second. Did we skip over that part? No, not here. Mhm. Okay. I have just shared my screen for the skill sets, or actually the tools, because people were asking for it particularly also. Irrespective of the domain that you come from, these are some basic things, the hard skills that you would be expected to know. It would be different or more in depth depending on the team or the company that you're working for, and similarly for the soft skills as well. So let's think about the journey of how a product manager will be working. Okay, you have joined a team. You're told to understand um, what are the problems users face. Okay, you already have a list of problems that the um, team knows, is aware of, and they have documented it somewhere. Or they have some stats to show that okay, there is a drop off at this page or this screen of the app, something like that. So your ability to understand the data, ask correct user questions. Okay, this is important. How do you build that? That's where you need to understand the user properly. The having user empathy comes into picture. How clearly can you communicate that? Okay, user said that this is very bad of a feature. How do you translate that into what needs to be worked on? Okay, so and also if you have data to show it, if it's in a database, basic SQL is needed to pull up those data and understand stuff. Then we talk about basic workflow management. Let's say now you in the flow of a product manager's journey, you have finalized that there are 5 problems that we need to work on. Okay. Now, can you put those into action items or as tasks into different project management tools or resources that can be used by the company? Jira, Notion, other Confluence tools that are there. Okay. So we'll talk like this is also a basic thing, and it's not tough. There are just features that once you are using Jira, you'll know. Once you're using Notion, you'll know. And you'll start, I mean, you need to have a basic understanding of these project management tools. And then after that, let's say the implementation has to happen. So, how well can you document the technical requirements, the design requirements, and other things so that you can get this work done by the respective teams? So, having the ability to write clear documentation in a form of a PRD or a user story in a Jira ticket, those then become a necessary skill. Okay. So, yeah, this is the set of hard skills that I would say are needed. Let me know um, if this answers the question. I think Darshil also had something similar. Coming from a commerce background, is it necessary for me to learn technical skills? Da-da-da-da-da. No, no. Darshil, I think I answered this. You don't need to know coding, but at the same time, if uh, I gave this scenario where the tech team says that they would need this much time to do something, or they are taking a certain approach to do something. Do you have the learner's mindset to at least ask the team members to understand what this is when they have time, or and read up about it, search Google, Chat GPT around it, and understand what this is? Do you have the ability to build that understanding? You will not be asked to code, you will not be asked to review tickets. Your task is to have clarity over time. And yeah, that's it. I hope this answers for Abhishek and Darshan. Hari said, as a developer intern exploring long term options, how would you suggest evaluating a transition into product management versus staying on the engineering path? Okay, Hari, personal approach, personal take, it will be completely um, um your own interests and your own career choice. I started off as a developer and transitioned after a few years. I know friends who have transitioned after 5 6 years being a dev, senior devs. Some who are doing very well in the developer field as well. So it depends on how you want to do it. If it's something that you want to experiment, you can do it early on in your career. There's nothing of an irreversible change. You can always get back and do what you liked doing more. Uh, if you stop looking at your career in a linear path, either you be a dev, and a senior dev and a tech lead versus a like a PM or senior PM head of product. If you are okay with mixing and matching and experimenting, finding what works for you, and then sticking to it, then you can experiment at any point of your time in your career. Hope that helps. Okay. Um, one more minute. We'll round off at 2:30. Any other questions? Any other thoughts?
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing such valuable insights on product and product management. We truly learned a lot from today's session, and also a big thank you for everyone who joined in and asked questions. I think we
Mhm.
answered most of the questions, and yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Great talking to you guys. Hope that you had good takeaways from this session. Feel free to drop a note on LinkedIn and ask further, and I'd be more than happy to um, yeah, help you in your uh, journeys ahead. And good luck, everyone. And yeah, have a great rest of the winter consulting session. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.